Welcome to Forest Namesake. We're so glad that you're here. I'm Valentine and this is my mom Martina. And again, a huge welcome to some new subscribers that we got recently. We're so happy that God led you to the channel, and we hope that you find it encouraging and that you are blessed by it. After prayer about it, we did come up with several ideas, but one that came to mind for today's topic was on criticism. And you probably cringed when you heard that word. There's two different types of criticism. There's constructive criticism, like when you're in a classroom and the teacher is trying to correct something or something that you need to work on. Or there's negative criticism, which is more just like showing their disapproval of you, which is what criticism is when I looked it up in the dictionary. It's disapproval.
That's interesting that they have such a thing as constructive criticism.
Yeah.
That almost seems like an opposite. Yeah.
So,
okay.
So the first thing that came to my mind was, I've already shared before, but I had a grandmother who criticized me quite often. We didn't have the best relationship. We loved each other, but it wasn't that close grandma-granddaughter kind of relationship. It seemed like no matter what I did it wrong. I couldn't sew like she could sew. She tried to teach me how to crochet. I couldn't do it. My sister was a quicker learner, and some are naturally gifted at certain things, but she would always find the negative in what I was doing. So that's an example. And how to respond to that? Well, I didn't respond at all, which I probably should have, but she kind of scared me. I probably should have nicely said, I'm sorry, I'm doing it wrong, I'm doing the best I can, or I'm more gifted in this area. And that's okay. It's okay to speak up in a polite, respectful way, especially when they're your elders.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, can you think of a time when you were criticized?
Well,
maybe either or.
About constructive criticism actually was when I was in art class in college years ago, and it was a beginner's acrylic painting. I remember that. And before I would just draw. I like to draw with pencil colors, so painting was, well, I've done some oil painting before, my mom taught me, but that was years ago, and I just did, just kind of fooling around on the canvas. But this class, I don't know why there were a lot of advanced, they seemed advanced students in there. They were excellent painters, artists, whatever you call them, artists. They were excellent, and I kept thinking, why are they in this class? This is a beginner's class. We're learning how to, what colors, for example, yellow and orange, what does that make? We were learning the basics of color in college and different designs and that kind of thing. And then we were, taking steps into, we learned how to do portraits, we learned how to do landscapes. I mean, it was like a series of things that we were learning. And I was always what I would call the baby in the class, because I was just, this was all new to me to do painting. And I was finally proud of myself that I had painted this landscape with a field and a lake behind it, and then some mountains in the background and flowers, and it made it real pretty and everything. And I was so proud of my work. And the teacher was going around and giving everybody, either, what they call constructive criticism. And he came to and everybody else, oh, that looks wonderful, that looks great. And I thought, oh, and my heart was just going, boo, 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 boo. And of course, he always saved mine for last, I guess, because he knew I was the baby in the class. And so he came to mine and he stared at it, and kind of like that picture that you saw where Valentine was like, and he would do that, and he would just stare at it and stare at it. And finally, he would shake his head like this, and I thought, oh, here we go. And he would say, this is very abstract. And I didn't even know what that meant. I had to go home and look that up. But he said, this is very abstract. You need to do a whole lot better than this. And then he would compare my work with others. He'd say, now look at Mary's over here. You see, she's got the lake in the background, and she's got some mountains kind of like you do. But it's more defined. It's more, or refined, or whatever the word is. It looks more like a real picture. Yours looks just flat, like a pancake. And so, I mean, just really I would say that was kind of constructive criticism mixed with really bad criticism.
Especially in public.
Yes, and everybody was listening, of course, because he was taking turns going around the room, and we had to listen to him as he was giving constructive criticism to everyone else. Then my turn came, and then finally a lady came to me, and she made me feel a whole lot better. And she finally said, "Oh, just don't listen to him. He's one of the toughest teachers here, and don't worry. You're probably better at cartoons," which it turned out that's what I ended up doing really well, was cartoons back in the day. I don't think cartoons really exist in today's time anymore, but kind of like Bugs Bunny or animation. I'm better at drawing that, but still, that was very hard. I'll never forget that. I mean, I still remember what that teacher looks like. I know his voice. I mean, wow. Yeah. And that was years ago in college. Years ago. I mean, back in the it was 1980s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a long time ago. So that would be constructive criticism mixed with bad criticism. Because I thought like he didn't do a good enough job. He enjoyed telling me, "That's just terrible. That's awful."
That's so sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then another idea, a neat idea, were constructive criticism. We do have some authors that we support on this channel, and we're glad that you're here, and we love getting your comments, and we love your books, and you know who you are, and in case you don't want your name to be given out. But you as an author, you have to go through also a constructive criticism stage where you have an editor come in, unless you're editing it yourself, the book.
Which she is. But
yeah.
She does have better readers.
Yeah.
Better readers are those who read the book. They're not really editing, but they're kind of telling you how they enjoyed the story before sending it out in public.
Yes. Are both of your author friends like that? Or does one of them have an actual editor that comes in and edits?
I think one of them does have an actual editor.
Yeah, so that would be tough too when they come and you're so proud of your book and it looks good and you've had your family look at it, and then here comes the editor and says, I think we're gonna have to do away with this entire chapter, or that'd be awful. That'd be a terrible criticism. I mean, I don't know. You could tell us some of your stories of being constructively criticized in that field, or anyone else who's been constructively criticized in a situation, or even bad criticism. I'm trying to think when I was really, really bad criticized. I mean, nothing comes to mind at the moment. Probably after the show, I'll probably come up with an idea. I'll remember something, but that painting class was bad enough. That was constructive mixed with bad, because he embarrassed me and humiliated me in front of the whole class, and he would always do that. That wasn't just that one time, it was always like that. I think I remember even getting out of the class, just dropping out, because he just made me so sad. And I didn't even want to paint after that for a while. So, yeah.
And I noticed that with negative criticism, the person who's doing it always uses comparison, which is not right.
Yeah, you need to be more like this student over here, or like Mama, which is her grandmother. You need to be more like your sister. Why can't you do it like your sister? Oh. That is the bad situation with those grandparents. With her paternal grandparents, her sister was viewed as the favorite one. I know that grandparents say there is no such thing as favorites, but there is. I mean, deep down inside, there's got to be a favorite grandchild in there somewhere. I mean, you probably treat them in the open around other people the same, but in your heart, you know, I've always wondered about grandparents. I'm not a grandparent, so I can't relate. But if you're a grandparent and you've kind of played favorites and you don't mind sharing, then you can share. But I think you had a Bible verse to share with us, speaking of sharing, that goes along with this topic, because we want to keep Christ in the middle of our conversations. We don't want to fall away from that. It's easy to do that, just to talk about ourselves and life without bringing God into the picture. We need to keep him at the center.
Right.
Yeah.
This is from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29, and I've shared this many times before the channel. Let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but what is good for necessary edification, that it may impart grace to the hearers. And edification, it just means to build up, not to tear down. negative criticism, you're constantly tearing down. You're not good. You could do better. This is what you should do. This is what you're not doing. Whereas necessary edification is building up. They're trying, in a Christian sense, trying to bring you closer to the Lord. Because I would say a good edifier is one who does keep Christ in the center of things.
Yeah.
Like if they do see you straying away, like, oh, I noticed that you're not reading your Bible as much anymore. Is there something going on? You can tell me. It's almost the same thing as encouragement. How I view edification.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why, but when you mentioned edification, I started to think about, if you notice in our thumbnail picture, we had a picture with me holding up a drawing pad with a rabbit that I was drawing. This is already done in the past, and I hope I can find it. Oh, here it is. And when you mention edification, like it's a process, well, when I took kind of like a self-taught, I retaught myself how to draw just recently, just to give myself something else to do in our homeless situation. And the book went through step by step. Step 1, do this. And I was learning how to draw different animals. Step 2, do this. And I wanted to I saw the complete picture, and I wanted to just jump to the complete picture and say, oh, I can draw that rabbit, no problem. And I started to do it, but it didn't look anything like their rabbit. That's because my proportions were wrong. The nose was not where it needed to be. The eyes weren't somewhere where they needed to be. Everything has its proper place. And you have to do like lines first. If you're an artist, you know what I'm talking about. You can't just, when you're learning how to draw, you don't just randomly draw something. You have to, everything has to have, like if you're doing portraits especially, the nose and the eyes have to be properly aligned, or you're going to look like a weirdo. But when she mentioned edification as a process, I was just thinking about this. I hope I don't have anything but you can see the steps that I did of the rabbit here. And I think I numbered it. Well, actually, it starts here, actually. Project 3, rabbit. So it goes step by step. You have to do it step by step in order for it to be looking like a rabbit and not something else.
Reminds me of a puzzle.
Like a puzzle. And
all the puzzles are jumbled up, and you have to break it each piece until you get to the full picture.
Right, exactly. So I was thinking, like you said, edification was like a process. Well, I see it as I'm a visual person, and so I see it as it gets a little bit better each time, I would think, as I work on it. And the same with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there are other criticisms that I just remembered where they think they're doing what they can see, but it's not really in actual fact. For example, I was in discipleship school for 9 months. And one day we were talking about criticism. Maybe that's why it popped up. And we had to find a partner in like our little small groups that we each had a small group in this class because it was huge, over 100. So we went one-on-one, and we had to tell each other a gentle criticism toward each other. I did not like that. I just can't do that. I can't criticize. Do you know, a lot of times if I'm going to tell you something, I'm going to tell what you might want to hear. I'm kind of a people pleaser. I'm not going to say something negative to you in front of you unless you're someone I don't know and you're hurting my family. Okay, I shared that before. I'm very defensive when it comes to that. But if I know you, I'm not going to say anything to you if I know you real well. And so I came up with something silly. I don't even remember what my criticism was. But the person who criticized me, you could tell, I think she was trying to think of something, and she said, well, Valentine, I noticed that you wear pants quite often. I've never seen you in a dress or skirt. Maybe you might want to try wearing a skirt from now on instead of pants. Are you trying to show off a body image? I mean, she said nicer than I'm saying, but I felt quite hurt at that because she didn't know why I was wearing pants. The reason why I was wearing pants is because this school, they were associated with a church. No offense to them. They would do things at the spur of the moment without letting you know. One time we went on a field trip without any warning, and it was outdoors. So when I found out about that, I mean, my skirt could get ripped or something. I could trip over it, and it's not going to be safe.
Another time you went roller skating.
Yes, roller skating.
Rollerblading, as they call it.
And there's some things you can't do in a skirt. And I love to wear skirts. And a lot of you've only seen me wear skirts. And I can get into why in another video. But I'm just saying, she didn't know the why I was wearing pants is because I knew that this class did things at the spur of the moment. And it's better to be safe than sorry. My house was 30 minutes away from this school, so it's not like I could change like the other students could.
Right, yeah.
So be careful when you do criticize. Make sure that you know the whole story before, and be sure to pray. If you feel like you need to criticize gently, only do it for what's necessary. Edification. Don't just criticize to criticize because you want to.
Right. Yeah.
Only do what God leads you to do.
Yes.
Because I do think that God can tell you gently to tell someone, hey, you're kind of straying away, or I noticed this, how about you and I just talk about it? And don't share this among others. Keep that between you two.
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good.
No.
When she mentioned, I don't like that part about let's select something to criticize each other about. I was thinking immediately when she said she couldn't do it, I was thinking, oh, poor Valentine couldn't take the criticism. But she was so sweet. She was talking about the fact that she could not criticize someone. So that was sweet. She didn't want to talk bad about someone.
No, not just randomly, because that's like, whoa, all of a sudden, no warning.
And you don't even know them that well.
Yeah, it's not like we were best friends. Now, if I do know you, if we've known each other for a while, and I see something that's wrong, then yes, I might criticize gently if God tells me to, but not like, boom, now you have to criticize someone. I just don't do that. Who does that? I guess the point of that lesson was to see how we would take it in a gentle way. It maybe helped some, it didn't help me. So, alright, so that was a funny story. Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny in the moment.
Yes. So we would like to hear, or not hear, we would like to see in your comments, if you'd like to share times where you've had both good criticism, which doesn't even sound good, I guess that's why they use the word constructive,
like
because you're learning, like I was learning to draw the rabbit properly in steps rather than all at once. And so, yeah, constructive criticism in that sense, and also someone criticizing you in a bad way. Mm-hmm. So if you'd like to share that, we would like to learn about what you've had to endure in that situation and how you dealt with it. Did you take it well, or do you take criticism well? Some people, they just, let it roll off. What's that saying? Let it roll off your back like a duck. Oh, no big deal. Okay, well, I guess that's something I need to work on,
Or that's them, it's not me.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, that's their problem, not mine. I've heard that before. Yeah, and sometimes it's, I know with children a lot, and parents, they want, whatever the parents didn't get to do back in their lifetime, they want to impose that onto their children and say, well, you should have done this. And they're thinking back in their mind, because I didn't have a chance. So therefore, I want you to do it. I did that with our younger daughter. I did not get to get into, well, I did get into gymnastics, but not like, really keeping serious in it as a child. And so I thought she was more of a tomboy, and I thought, we need to get you in some gymnastics, and we need to get you seriously involved in that. Hey, you might be able to do the Olympics someday. I mean, I was really gung-ho going for it. And then I was a little tough on her, like, well, you didn't quite do that role properly, or you need to work harder on that. So that was a little bit too, that was maybe constructive criticism and then turning into not such a good situation. So of course, she's not a gymnast today, but she chose something else, and that's okay.
That is interesting that you brought that up. Maybe people who criticize, they're criticizing because maybe they even see something in themselves that they wish was different, but they take it out on others.
Maybe. Yep, that's true. Yeah. I'm just wondering. So then back to your grandmother. I'm wondering if she was thinking about herself, maybe because she couldn't do that either. Yeah.
I know her own mother, from what she kind of went back and forth. My mother was nice and my mother wasn't nice. So maybe the times her mother wasn't nice to her, maybe she was thinking of those moments like, well, my mother always criticized me. Yeah. So, and out of hurt, they do it to others. I've heard that phrase, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah, that could be it.
So
Yeah.
if you have been hurt before, that's not a biblical way to look at it. Hurt people should not hurt people. Hurt people should go to God for their problems. And
Yes,
ask
definitely.
God to help you forgive.
Yes, that's for sure. Yeah.
Well, we hope
Okay.
that you liked the video. Keep Ephesians 4:29 in mind anytime you are tempted to criticize. And if you have to criticize, do it gently and only if God tells you to, or you feel led by the Holy Spirit to.
And in love.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, as a parent, you have to criticize to some extent. Just do it in love, like my mom said.
Yes.
And we
Yeah.
hope that you like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Leave your comments down below. And Lord willing, we will see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.